Hello and welcome to We Watch TV. I'm Daniel, and as always, I'm joined by the lovely Hope.
Hey.
We're working on formatting for the podcast, trying to get exactly, up into the flow, into the kind of the.
We're joined by Marvin.
Yeah, our dog's
on the couch
here with us as well.
Right between us.
So this week we're going to do a little bit different. We're going to start out just by talking about what we've been watching this past week.
Yes.
We record on Saturdays, but we push this out on Tuesdays, so we're talking about the week prior to what's going on.
Yep.
So what'd you watch this week?
Well, this week has been one of those weeks that you have where you just you almost feel brain dead, if you know what I mean. You can't, this happens to me frequently. I just can't watch anything really new because I just don't have the mental capacity to take in the new information. So I want to turn to a comfort show. My comfort shows tend to be comedies. I tend to rotate between which ones I'm doing, and I have been watching Modern Family this week, a great show. We actually first started watching Modern Family over the summer for the first time ever. I'd always wanted to see it, and now it's solidified itself as one of my favorites and is now in the rotation to repeat. So that's what I've been watching this week, Modern Family.
And I think it's important, like you said it, you're a comfort show person. Like, you can rewatch shows infinitely to a certain
my
extent.
comfort shows tend to be like Parks and Rec is a big one. I always go back to Frasier, Friends, and now The Middle. I love The Middle. I did watch one episode of The Middle this week, but I've pretty much been watching Modern Family.
Didn't you watch something yesterday for like a hot second?
Okay, so we have Paramount Plus. That is what Daniel's favorite Star Trek show is on, Strange New Worlds, that we talked about in
favorite
episode
currently
1.
airing Star Trek show.
Best show going in your 2 slot. Go check out our first episode if you don't know what we're talking about. Okay, so on Paramount Plus, they have old episodes of the MTV's Road Rules Real World Challenge episodes, and last summer I started watching the Challenge All-Star season. I used to be I would watch the Challenge religiously for years. I don't remember when I quit, probably maybe around 2013 or something, so I watched it for a really long time. And I kind of stopped watching it because a lot of the people that I grew up watching had stopped doing the show. So when they brought that All-Stars show back last summer, I got into it again. Well, last night I discovered that they have old seasons of the Challenge up, clear back from 2004, 2005, 2006. And I just randomly went back and I watched some episodes of, I think, Battle of the Sexes, The Inferno, Fresh Meat. And it was going going not only a fashion time capsule, but I remembered some of these dramatic moments. And since I've now seen some of these same guys that have come back, out of their Challenge retirement and doing the All-Star season, when I was watching All-Stars, I was like, oh, well, they haven't really aged that much. And then I see them looking so young on these episodes that I watched, a million years ago. So I randomly got into that last night. And no, for all the people that still religiously watch the Challenge, I really haven't watched the new ones that are not All-Star seasons, just because I don't really know the new cast and I don't really care to. Just call me a dinosaur, I guess. I know CT still does. I'd like to see CT come back and do the All-Star season sometime. So yeah, that's what I was randomly watching.
I haven't really watched much other than I've been on the couch for a lot of the Modern Family. I ended up out of town a couple days this week for work. And I have some Star Wars and some other things that I need to get to on the backlog.
We watched the WVU game together.
Unfortunately.
While you were gone. And Sports Twice. The Sports World, not a show. They won that one. Lost bad today on Saturday. We don't have to talk about that. But yeah, Modern Family, big comfort show. It's just one of those shows that I can sit. I can have it on. I love all the characters. It's just fun and it soothes me. And also, clearly, we're boring our dog, Marvin, if you heard him yawn just now.
And then I think you also had a Valentine's Day thing to talk about.
Today is Valentine's Day. And in honor of Valentine's Day, I thought it'd be fun to do a quick little segment about some of our favorite TV show couples. I don't really think Daniel watches shows the same way I do. He's not into the shipping as much. But Daniel, who would you say your favorite television couple is of the shows that you've watched? It can be dramas, comedies.
I'm glad you asked me this in the kitchen an hour ago because I wouldn't have had an answer off the top of the cuff, but I'm going with Andy and Andy Dwyer and
April
Ludgate from Parks and Rec.
So you're not going with Niles and Daphne?
No, I did that one just to piss you off.
Why? Because that's one of mine?
Because I knew that would be one of the ones.
So why Andy and April?
And primarily, I think, and you pointed this out when I talked about it, they do, kind of. I say this very loosely. People on the
We're
internet.
We're not that dumb.
they. I think I feel very connected to them with how we were when we first got together and married, particularly when we first got married.
Still acting like kids.
Still acting like kids and being completely ridiculous.
Going to the store, buying dumb stuff. We would probably be the type. I don't think we ever actually ate off Frisbees for plates, but we were pretty close. I know I would eat sometimes out of like a serving bowl for my cereal if I didn't feel like doing dishes.
And I also and also we had this discussion. I felt like they naturally grew together. Like it was very clear to me, at least, that from season 1 to where they ended up, that was not the intent of the writers, and they just kind of found their way there, where as opposed to couples that are just set up completely to be the couple from the very first moment. And you just better like it if you're a watcher.
And you have to do it right, though, because when you do it right and they still have some obstacles, it can work if they still have that chemistry. Like Leslie and Ben, like you could tell that they were probably going to be together, but they are one of my favorite couples. They wouldn't be the favorite couple of TV, but they had good chemistry. They had good build. I really liked their dynamic. I enjoyed them a lot. But they still had obstacles to overcome. If you're a couple though, and it's like the first episode in that I ever watched on the show, a pilot, and I'm like, oh, so that's the couple. I don't find it as interesting. Like, I like to see that build. I like to see it go on. Like, we talked a little bit in the kitchen earlier about Ross and Rachel. They weren't together immediately from the pilot of Friends. I kind of figured they would be, and I always figured they'd probably be, like, endgame. And I do think that their journey, for me, was still interesting and fun to watch. I mean, like, when he said her name, Ross, take thee, Rachel. When she gets off the plane at the end, they had it good. But then there's other couples on shows that I don't think they do the journey as well, at least for me. Like, I know some of my Vampire Diaries fans are going to be very upset with me. Friends, my friends, or fans of the show, The Vampire Diaries, I should say. Like, Stefan and Elena, I was never a big Stelena person because they didn't have, like, the trials, the drama, the build, the slow burn that Damon and Elena had, who would be one of my favorite couples from like a dramatic show.
So then what is ultimately your favorite? I liked the
build. My favorite couple though on a show, I really struggle with this because I ship so many couples and I enjoy so many couples, but I'm going to have to probably say Monica and Chandler from Friends are one of my favorites. And maybe they kind of go with your theory. Ultimately, is they were not the planned couple originally from Friends, but I feel like they really work together. And once they got them together, they still had some challenges, like his commitment issues and things like that. But they work, and I feel like they're one of the healthier couples. They don't have as much of the drama as Ross and Rachel. And then probably my second slot would be I really like Daphne and Niles from Frasier. And they did have that will they or won't they build. And when I first watched Frasier, it was not as it was airing live. It was in syndication. And I truly didn't know if they were going to keep the gag up. Because, I mean, like, Niles was married at the beginning. Like, I didn't know if they were going to actually get them together.
I think in hindsight, it probably is one of those ones they planned from the very beginning.
Yeah, I do. I think they absolutely did plan it from the very beginning. But I just wasn't sure. So I was really excited when I watched that. And I'm really glad that I didn't have that necessarily spoiled for me either. But like another couple, this is going to make a lot of people angry. On The Office, Pam and Jem are probably not my favorite couple ever. They actually kind of got on my nerves. What about you?
Yeah, they got on my nerves. Like, not necessarily at first,
I think
but as
Angela
it went
and Dwight
on,
are funnier.
They got on my nerves.
Yeah, not at first, but as it went on, like once they finally got them together, I was glad. And I enjoyed their wedding and I enjoyed them as a pairing. But it was kind of one of those things where I wish they had honestly gotten them together a little bit sooner. Because they just dragged it. And that's a couple that would go with your theory of, oh, we knew they were going to be together immediately. And for me, they just weren't as fun to watch as Leslie and Ben. But it might just be because I like the character of Leslie Knope better than Pam.
Okay.
So happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day. We're going to take a quick break that you all won't notice, but I'm going to throw all the dog toys out of the room so he can't squeak on our audio. And then when we are back, we're going to talk about kind of the first half of the year and the kind of shows that we're looking forward to. Okay, so 2023, things we're looking forward to. We're already kind of midway through February at this point, so...
January lasted forever, but February is like, woo!
So, like, there's some stuff that started in February that we haven't gotten to yet. Like, everybody's watching The Last of Us, and I think we've decided we're going to get to that eventually because
I think begrudgingly I'm going to give it a go, even though sad shows and apocalyptic shows aren't generally my vibe.
But, I mean, we also do run a podcast about TV shows.
About TV, so, and, you know, I'll support Nick Offerman, who I think he's only in one episode, though, right?
I would assume so, yes, from what I've seen.
But we'll give that a go for you guys.
So, I pulled up this list of Rotten Tomatoes stuff and realized there's so much crap that I had no idea was on TV.
Same. And I thought we watched a lot of TV, which I feel like we started watching a lot more TV when, like, the pandemic happened and quarantine. Like, we watched a lot of shows that, you know, we normally wouldn't have gotten into. But, wow. Looking at that list that you sent me, it's stunning.
Yeah.
How much television there really is.
So I know probably the first thing coming up that I know both of us are interested in is Star Trek Picard Season 3.
Even though Season 2 was a dumpster fire, we are absolutely going to tune in for Season 3 because the OGs are coming back.
From the next generation. Which is the only reason I'm tuning in, because what they did with the end of Season 2
was garbage.
And I was against them even doing it again.
I've heard good things. I feel like they're kind of almost doing like a reset.
And so I'm sorry to all our people who could give a crap about Star Trek.
Yeah, again, Daniel's going to work in talking about Star Trek, I think, every episode we do of this show. But
that sounds like a good idea. Ooh, Naked and Afraid Season 15 starts on February 19th.
I didn't even know that was still in the air. The last time I watched, fun fact, the last time, I watched Naked and Afraid was the dentist office had it on. And I'm like, well, this is, fun. And then another time I walked past Daniel's computer and I just saw like somebody naked. I'm like, oh, what you watching? And that's what it was. Woo! Nothing else.
Then in February 23rd, the Outer Banks Season 3 comes out.
Outer Banks Season 3. Now, Daniel has never watched Outer Banks Season 3.
That will be a solo effort on Hope's part.
He's missing out. You would have liked it if you had seen this. When I watched Season 1 of the Outer Banks, this was when it was like peak quarantine, and I'm like, oh, this show kind of looks reminiscent of The OC, a show that I once loved very much in my youth. So, and yes, it does have the OC vibes with some family drama, but there's treasure hunting. It's just crazy. You know how sometimes you'll have a show, like, I feel like The Walking Dead does this sometimes, where you'll have some episodes that are some stinkers, and then they give you everything crazy in, like, the last episode of the season. No, every episode that I have watched of The Outer Banks is just insane, and it's so good. I really think you should have given it a try. But that'll be a solo effort by me. I actually will not be starting it on the 23rd because I will be out of town. But you can bet that'll be in my plans when I get back from my little girls' weekend that I'm getting ready to go on. Yay. Is to settle down, watch The Outer Banks. I feel like I watched Season 2 in like the course of a weekend. So I'll definitely be talking about that with you guys. I know a lot of people that listen to this podcast have talked to me about that show on Twitter. So Marvin's a fan if you hear him squeaking.
Neither of us watch this, although I feel like you dip in and out every now and then. But apparently, coming back from winter break hiatus is the 19th season of Grey's Anatomy.
Yes, and this is actually I actually might tune in to the end of the season this year because it is Ellen Pompeo. I think I'm saying her name, Ellen Pompeo, who plays Meredith Grey, the lead of the series. I believe this is her last season, and then I think the show's just going to go on without her, and it's going to keep ticking. I used to love Grey's Anatomy. It was one of my favorite shows. I watched it in college all the time with my roommates. We would have, like, popcorn night. Everybody gathered. We all watched it. We'd all cry. And then I feel like I kept up with watching it into adulthood. Then they made me mad when they killed off, like, McDreamy, some certain characters. So I kind of fell out of it. Then I'd get back into it. They'd suck me back in again. So I did not watch the season except for the episodes where she had like the dream sequence where they actually addressed the pandemic and Meredith had like COVID and was like hallucinating on the beach. I watched those because they brought back McDreamy and Lexi and Mark and George in a dream sequence. So that's probably the last episode of Grey's Anatomy that I have watched. But I fully intend probably to see at least Meredith Grey's final episode.
And then February 26th, The Blacklist is still on?
I had
Season
no
10?
idea. I thought The Blacklist ended. We used to be really big into The Blacklist. We started off watching it on Netflix, I think, and then we caught up and we're watching it. And I think that was probably our downfall, is because I feel like for me, a show like The Blacklist does work better in a binge format. And then it kind of got over the top. We stopped watching. And I thought it was like gone. I didn't even know that it was still on the air.
Because
so.
am I correct that the main character, not Raymond Reddington, but like the main character, the FBI agent Keen, she's like not on the show anymore?
She's not?
I don't think so.
Kaylin, I know you listen to this podcast. Let me know. Is Keen still on the show?
And then, okay, so the big one, I think, for this year, even more than Star Trek Picard Season 3.
Oh, absolutely.
On March 1st, The Mandalorian Season 3 begins on Disney+.
I actually just drank out of my Mandalorian coffee mug today and thought about that. But March 1st, Wednesday, March 1st, I don't know why Disney Plus has gone to Wednesday release dates instead of Friday. I don't mind it, though. It's nice to break up your week with something to look forward to. Fun fact, I don't know about you, Daniel, but I forgot that we were on Season 3 of The Mandalorian. I was thinking it was Season 4 because Boba Fett turned into basically Mandalorian Season 2.5, in my opinion, the last few episodes. And I was like, wait a minute, we didn't already have The Mandalorian Season 3?
I'll be interested to know how people take this because...
Like, if you didn't watch Boba Fett...
If you didn't watch Boba Fett, if you could care less about that... then
and I know a lot of people...
Big story elements took place in those last couple episodes of the Book of Boba Fett that have an effect on the Mandalorian storyline.
And I know a lot of people that don't really watch any other Star Wars media, but they love Grogu and they watch The Mandalorian. I don't know how they understand some of the stuff, that like the lore, but I know people that only watch The Mandalorian and do not watch any other, like, a Star Wars.
Like they're going to wonder where that ship came from, and they're going to wonder why is Grogu suddenly back with The Mandalorian. If I tell you this, guys,
my Mandalorian only watchers, because I know there's some of them out there that do listen to this podcast, go back and watch at least Boba Fett, at least the back half of Boba Fett, so you're filled in.
Go into the episode description, find it's like the last 2 episodes, I think, really, is all you need to watch.
I forgot, clearly I forgot I was watching a show about Boba Fett. That's why I was so confused, but very excited. I would say The Mandalorian is probably my top 3 of shows that I'm looking forward to in 2023. What about you?
For sure, yes.
All right, so what else?
Well, I'm looking through March here. Apparently, they're redoing a Perry Mason. It's actually into season 2.
What date does that one come out on? I didn't even know.
March 6th.
See, I pulled up. I probably skipped ahead of you because I took some screenshots. On Wednesday, March 29th, Riverdale Season 7 comes back.
That show's on Season 7?
Yeah. I used to love Riverdale. The first, 3 seasons of Riverdale, as bizarre and crazy as it is, were really good. Riverdale is loosely based on the Archie comics. And I guess they're, going back to, the 50s or the 60s or something this season. I didn't watch last season. But, yeah, Riverdale is still kicking.
Sunday, March 12th, we tend to tune in for the Oscars. At least
that's on March 12th.
A little bit we like to watch. I know we have some plans to watch a few of the Best Picture noms before then. Because I really want to see Everything Everywhere All at Once. And I feel like there was something else
that we really wanted
that I wanted to see that got nominated. Not Avatar. This is a non-Avatar home.
Avatar's nominated for the Oscars?
For Best Picture, yeah.
It just came out. I thought you had to come out did it come out in...
It came out in 22.
Oh, it did?
Yeah.
I did not see... I didn't realize that.
Because this is a non-Avatar home.
But we like Pandora at Disney's Animal Kingdom.
That's true. But not Avatar movie series, of which there are only 2. Everybody acts like it's some big franchise. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, there's another movie. We're bad at... See, this is why we watch TV. But I know what he's talking about. There's another movie, I can't think of it at all, that we wanted to watch for the Oscars as well.
Superman and Lois Season 3. which we've never really watched that, but we got some.
We
got introduced to that version of Superman through the Flash, which they're finally putting down after the next season.
The Flash started off great, and after they got through Crisis, which was what they were building to, the first 4 seasons, kind of fell off. We'll still watch it, though.
Yeah, it fell off hard. Anything else in March you can see on the list?
The only thing, I already jumped ahead of you for when Riverdale caught my eye. I have not seen Yellow Jacket Season 1, but Yellow Jacket Season 2 comes out March 24th. That's a show that I thought about watching.
On March 26th, Succession Season 4. We've not watched that, but I've heard really good things about it.
I've heard that's actually on my list as well of shows to potentially watch when my brain works.
Yeah, we go through brain death on occasion.
Which is why I've been watching Modern Family this week. April.
There's a show called The Pink Ladies, and it's about your Grease people.
I actually took a screenshot of that. Am I super excited for Grease Rise of the Pink Ladies Season 1? No. Am I intrigued? Absolutely. I probably will watch it. It looks like it's going to be lean into the campiness. That is one of the reasons why I like Grease. So I think I might give it a try, see if I like it.
April 19th, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Once and Always on Netflix.
Yes.
Is that the documentary?
It is not so much a documentary as it is like a reunion episode. Oh, okay. They're bringing back Billy, the original Blue Power Ranger, Zach. Yes, that's right. I know their names. I'm very cool, you guys. Zach, the original Black Power Ranger. And then I don't think they're bringing back the OG Red Power Ranger. That was Jason. I think they're bringing back the one with Rocky. I think that's, he was like the second one. And then they didn't get, her name is like escaping me at the moment. Oh, Amy Jo Johnson, the OG Pink Ranger. I don't think they could afford her for this reunion special. She said they were in talks, but talks fell through. So they're getting the blonde girl that replaced her and was the second Pink Power Ranger, and she's going to be on there. And I believe they're getting Aisha, who was the second Yellow Power Ranger. And obviously, the fact that I know more about the Power Rangers and their names than my husband proves who the true cool one in this family is.
It absolutely does.
And I will tune in for that because it's morphin' time.
And then the list kind of gets hazy after that because a lot of places have gotten into just not announcing stuff until like a month or two before it's coming out. But
in May there's some stuff coming out, I think.
Fear the Walking Dead is on a season 8. I think we watched like the first episode of that.
Yes.
We fell off the Walking Dead after season 6
The Walking Dead is a show
7.
that I think I'll always go back and probably rewatch someday. It just, you haven't, I stuck it out longer than you, but you haven't watched. Like, you never even saw Glenn, spoiler alert, by the way, you never saw Glenn die even, right?
I thought I saw him die, but then he didn't die.
You didn't get
and then he was
you
back.
Didn't even really watch a lot of the Negan episodes.
I think I only saw if he was part of like a season finale, I think I saw that, but I don't think I saw anything beyond that.
Oh, and when you go into May, stunningly enough, May the 4th be with you, Star Wars Young Jedi Adventures Season 1 comes out on Disney+, and they're going to be airing it on Disney Junior, and I think that's where we're going to see baby Ahsoka. It's obviously going to be a children's show, but I'm sure we'll still watch it, right?
That's different. The thing with baby Ahsoka's already out.
Oh, that
Tales of the Jedi.
Then what is Young Jedi Adventures Season 1?
I don't know what that is. I haven't seen a trailer for that, actually.
Well, it comes out on May the 4th, so we call ourselves Star Wars fans. We're going to have to study up on that. I did not know they did a Harriet the Spy TV show. Did you know that? It says Friday, May 5th. Harriet the Spy Season 2 of Apple TV. Did you ever watch the Harriet the Spy movie with Michelle Trachtenberg in the 90s?
No, I didn't.
Oh my gosh, my friend and my neighbor and
I wasn't a little girl in the 90s.
Okay, well, we went and saw that movie, and then we bought the little composition notebooks, and we went and spied on all our neighbors for like a week. So we played Harriet the Spy.
Wonderful.
I was a very cool kid, guys. But yeah, apparently, not only is the show coming out, but there's a season 2.
And I think the big thing in spring that doesn't actually have a date yet is Ted Lasso Season 3.
And Ted Lasso Season 3 would be what I am most looking forward to in 2023.
Yeah, I would agree with that. That's by far my 2023.
Even more than The Mandalorian.
More than The Mandalorian.
The first 2 seasons of Ted Lasso are perfection.
The only thing that could have me hyped up more than Ted Lasso would be if like the next season of The Boys were coming, but I haven't even heard anything about filming on that. So.
I don't think we're going to be getting The Boys this year because I haven't heard much about filming or anything like that. But Ted Lasso is one of those shows, and we'll do an episode where we just, I think, talk about Ted Lasso because it's so good. Maybe as we get closer, or maybe when we actually get an air date. I know they've released some photos. We haven't gotten a trailer yet. But Ted Lasso is a show that's a comedy where I can be cracking up 1 second, the next second, like, almost sobbing. It's so good. It's heartwarming. The characters just feel so real, but still so funny at the same time. I think it's actually a good perception of mental health. And it's just a good show, and I'm sad that this is going to be the last season.
I like
but also go out on a good note.
I like it. It makes me feel happy, and there's few like I enjoy a lot of TV shows these days, but not very many of them actually like make me feel good after watching an episode.
So Ted Lasso, that's on the spring to be determined list. Let's see, anything. Not really much else that I'm looking forward to on the spring to be determined list, which takes us into June.
There's not much on June at all right now that anybody's putting out.
June was very dry on here.
I'm gonna hit a couple on the I'm gonna hit a couple on the summer to be determined list, and then maybe we wrap this segment and do a part 2 for the back half of the year. The Bear,
right there.
The Bear season 2
on Hulu.
I just want to point out we watched The Bear. 3 weeks before it was cool and everybody else suddenly was watching.
We're being very gatekeeping with that right now. And it's good. We wanted people to watch it because we wanted it to get picked up. You would watch some like YouTuber that like is an extra, or not really an extra, but a background character. And I said, "Oh, is this the show you were talking about?" I thought he was talking about a show with like a grizzly bear. I had no idea what Daniel was talking about when he was rambling on. And I was like, "Oh, the show about like the restaurant." So we watched that. The first season is fantastic. There's one episode in season 1 where they do, I don't know, what is the technical term, Daniel? They don't cut it, right?
Yeah, it's a one-shot.
It's a one-shot, and it really, if you've ever, both Daniel and I have both worked in restaurants before. Marvin says hi, by the way. And I feel like just the intensity is spot on in that episode. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, neither of us have ever worked in restaurants quite like that style.
Quite like that,
but
yeah.
Yes.
I was more like fast
But there's still an intensity
yes.
just working in food that is hard to capture.
That show's very raw and real, but it's, I don't know, like there's funny moments, there's serious moments. It's hard. It's a show for me that's hard to explain. Just go watch it, and it'll make you hungry.
Another one on here for me. I don't know if this is for if you want to watch this with me or not. Foundation season 2. That's on Apple TV. I'll probably watch that.
Again, show I didn't know they had a season 1
When we
of.
pick up Apple TV to watch Ted Lasso, I'll probably watch season 2 of that. I didn't watch season 1 of The Foundation, but I watched a 2-hour YouTube video that talked about it.
Well, I'm seeing
it's based off a classic sci-fi book that I have interest in.
I think I saw the trailer for The Foundation. What sticks out to me is The Witcher season 3, and the fact that they have it in summer to be determined surprises me because I feel like The Witcher has always come out around like Christmas in the past, and this is going to be Henry Cavill's last season of The Witcher before Liam Hemsworth takes over in season 4.
Tell us how you
buy
feel.
Myself flowers. That's all you need to know how I feel about that. Sorry, I'm not a singer. But I am really looking forward to The Witcher. I feel like we wait forever in between Witcher seasons.
Yeah, we really do.
And it just...
And this will be the last season of The Witcher.
Yeah, the last true season.
So, Good Omens is another one, is season 2. I wanted to watch season 1, just never got around to it, so it might be a good time to... Because that's got David Tennant and... in it. He plays like a demon or something.
I know Outlander is a big one for many people. I have seen a couple episodes of season 1 of Outlander. It seemed really slow to me. I am told that is a show that I would really like. I don't think it's a show you would like. But I think this is the last season for Outlander, season 7. I've been seeing some stuff on TikTok, and that's going to come out sometime this summer as well, according to this list.
Okay. So probably this episode, we're going to end this episode here, but next episode we'll probably talk about the stuff on the back half of the year. Again, with the way TV is really weird with how they release things now. Like, you don't really get as much of a firm schedule the farther out you go.
Well, it used to be back in the day where summer was like where TV went to die. That's where reality TV did get kind of popular. I feel like, because that was what would kind of take the place of those shows. But now with streaming services, you can drop, something new in July, which used to be like the dead zone. So
yeah. So we'll thanks for listening. We'll hit you next episode with the rest of the year.
I thought of one current show that we had been watching when you said, what have you been watching this week? We have been watching Special Forces on Fox.
Oh, yeah.
It's a
we'll probably
reality.
hit that up once it ends, a little bit more detail.
Yeah, we'll probably do
not
like an episode where we talk about maybe the whole thing. But if you're looking for reality TV that's not like Bachelor love based, but more like, kind of competition-y, put them through tests, endurance, and you just want some entertainment that way, go check it out. It's on Fox, but they also have it on Hulu. So sorry, I had to get that in there.
If you've gotten this far through the episode and you enjoy what we've done so far, please think about giving us a follow.
Yes.
And it really helps us out, just with the algorithm and discovery for people who are looking for new things to listen to. And if you have anything we missed in this episode that you're looking forward to,
let us know.
Hit us on Twitter. Let us know what you're looking forward to, or if you think our opinions are absolutely terrible. And
if there's a show you really want us to watch, let us know.
And we'll decide whether we're going to watch it.
Should I go back and watch The Blacklist since it's apparently, season 10?
Please don't suggest that.
Maybe not.
Okay. Well, thanks for listening.
Thanks for
listening.
listening.
See you next time. Thanks for listening to this episode of We Watch TV, a podcast about TV shows we watch. You can find more from Hope on Twitter at Little Runner or on Instagram at Little Runner 1485. And I'm on Twitter at The Real Hobo Dan. Drop us a line if you like the show or have a question and you'd like us to address on a future show. Music for today's podcast was provided by Your Tunes from Pixabay. Artwork was created using the AI program Midjourney with prompts written by myself.